Alright, let's see how to build a 3D compass in Unity. This 3D compass can be rotated and moved around in 3D space, but it would still keep pointing towards a specified direction. What I have here is a really simple structure for the compass, which consists of a compass base, and under that I have a needle parent, which is an empty game object with the position and rotation set to 0, and under that I have the needle, which is a cube, and it can be anything you want. Something to note is that I've set the dual handle rotation setting of Unity to the local setting, so that you can clearly see which direction each game object is facing. So you can see that the needle is facing towards the positive Z direction. So I need the needle parent to rotate along the y-axis such that it faces towards the target direction. And to do that, I'm using a script which is attached to the needle parent. In this script, the first thing that I do is to get the target position. So in my case, I'm using this little sphere as the target that the needle should point to. But you can also use a general direction instead of a game object like this. So to use a general game object, what you have to do is to take the position of the transform itself and then add whatever direction you want to it. So if you want the needle to point in the positive Z direction, you can add this vector, the forward vector. But in this case, I'm just going to use the game object's position. So with this, I get the world space coordinates of the sphere here, and I need to convert that to the local coordinate space of my compass body. To do that, I used the inverse transform point function, which gives me the relative target position. Now that I have the relative target position, I can determine how much the angle or how much the needle should rotate so that it faces the target. And to do that, I use the a_tan2 function. I made a little diagram here which makes it easier to understand what's going on. So the target position is this, x, z. I'm ignoring the y coordinate because the needle itself is rotating along the y-axis, so it doesn't need that information to calculate this angle. So I plug in the x and z coordinates of my target to the a_tan2 function, which gives me the angle of the rotation in radians, which I then convert to degrees with this function. And once I have the needle rotation, all I need to do is to apply it to the transform. So to do that, I change the local rotation, and then I change only the y-axis, and the y rotation, and the x and z are set to 0. That's pretty much all you need to do. Let's go and test our setup in play mode. So you can see that the needle is already pointing towards the target. If I move the compass around, you can see that it still keeps pointing to our target. I can also rotate it. And no matter how I rotate it or how I move it, it's always pointing towards the sphere if you look at it from the front. And that's it. That's how you build a 3D compass in Unity.